Hey, welcome. I'm Pastor John Boyacek, and this is Fairview Baptist Church. We're so glad that you could join us for a slice of what Fairview life is all about. We want you to be here and be part of what God is doing in this community.
Last November, I turned 75. The next day in the newspaper, there was a story of a man killed in a fire in Fenton Falls. He was an elderly man. It said so on the paper. He was 75. I have here a file of paper. Not my sermon notes, relax. That's my notes from this fall in Luke chapter 15. And you say, well, you're kind of proud of that, aren't you? Well, put it this way. Last March, April, May, June, July, and most of August, I couldn't have done it. Will you people pray for me? If something started to work, I hesitate to call it a brain. It started to work at the end of August. And I just thank God for answered prayer. These notes are on the prodigal son, and those of you who've been to Lauderdale Eve will know that Blanche and I worked through this together. And this is partly her and partly me. And I just want to thank God for a chance that He's given us in retirement to work together. And that's been pretty exciting. So I thank God for her. I'm going to call this sermon The Prodigal Father. It's always called the story of the prodigal son, and that's a misnomer. It's not about the son, it's about the father. And if we get our eyes on him, that'll change it all for us. It's a parable. And a parable is a story. It's a slice of fiction. It's made up. It's not true. It's from everyday life. The parables of Jesus Christ are divorced from our world completely because He lived in a different time, in a different age. But it's ordinary stuff. It's everyday stuff. And every parable had sort of one real significant point that God was trying to get across. Sometimes people make parables try to walk on every point in the world. No, there's usually one point, and we need to get that. And so we come to the story, and as the story is told, the first thing we have to ask, who's in the room? Who's listening to the story? And first of all, there's tax collectors. Jewish people who have sold their souls to the Romans, who have bid on it. They come to a place like Lindsay and say to the Romans, I think I can collect this much in taxes. And somebody say, I can collect a little bit more. And they bid on it, and somebody would win. And they would have the soldiers of Rome at their back, and they'd collect. Anything they collected over and above what they contracted, that was theirs to keep, and they lived well. And for that, they were hated. All right? In the room were sinners. Well, we got a room full of them here, but that's not the way this word is being used. In this context, this referred to women of the street. Women who sold their bodies to make a living. And these first two groups of people are people who made a living out of disobeying the law. Sin was not an accident for them. It was a way of life. Also in the room, there are Pharisees. These are laymen laymen who belong to a club. And it's a very restricted club, a very special club. And they live for one thing. They live for the law. They try to follow the law, everything. They went out in the garden and got some spices, the salt, the flavor of the meal. They would put them on the scale and they would tithe it. And they put a little bit of spice aside for their tithe. They were ridiculous. But they not only loved the law in terms of living it for themselves, but they acted like policemen and made sure everybody else obeyed the law. When you saw them coming, you kind of wanted to look the other way. They made life miserable. But they thought they were something else. They were haughty, proud, and they'd make you gag. And finally, there are scribes. A lot of people in that day and age didn't write. And they had to go to somebody to write stuff for them, and they go to the scribes. And the scribes did the writing. They also taught the kids in the synagogue. And they were sort of like local pastors on the side too. And they were tied right in with the Pharisees. And it was the law, the law, the law, the law. And this is who the story is being told to. And then you have the storyteller, the Lord Jesus Christ. And he said, I and my Father are one. God has come into the room in the form of his Son. And he's sitting down with these people, and he's telling them a story. And that to me is an incredibly beautiful picture. Now we have the story. Father has two kids. He's a farmer. And he comes in the house one day, and his younger son says, Father, give me my share of the property that's coming to me. When you croak. That's when you get your share of the inheritance. When Dad croaks. What's this fellow saying? He's saying, Dad, if you really want to know the truth, I'm wishing you were dead. I just want my stuff, and I want to be able to get out of here and split. I don't care about you. I don't care about the farm. I don't care about my Jewish faith. I don't care about anything. I just want to be free to do what I want to do. I thought that when I retired, I'd be free to do what I want to do. Now I go and see doctors and attend funerals. And how does the Father respond? This is an amazing, amazing lesson. The Father says to both sons, here you are, both of you. He accepts that he's already lost both his sons. Both his sons had left home long ago. They left aside. There's no relationship left. And he doesn't fight for something that he's already lost. This is a tremendous parenting tool. Sometimes we keep fighting for what's already gone. We don't win people back, we just drive them further away. There's a time for war, there's a time for peace. There's a time to gather, there's a time to let go. And sometimes as a parent, all you can do is let go. And hand them over to the Heavenly Father and commend them into his keeping. We need to do this in so many areas of our life. Not just with family and friends, sometimes with stuff. We get into squabbles over stuff. We get into squabbles over issues. That's just as good as that. When we stand before God, we're going to feel about so high. The stuff we fussed about. Here he does, you want your inheritance? Younger son, here's yours. Older son, here's yours. And as fast as the prodigal can, he liquidates the assets. He takes it to Cornelius' auction barn and gets rid of it all and gets a gag. It's a lot more portable. Packs the minimum, just what he can carry. There's so much stuff he should take, but it's got sentimental attachments, and he couldn't care less about sentimental, and he couldn't care less about attachments, so he's glad to leave it behind. And he heads to a far country. We aren't told where that is, but it's a long way away. He just wants to get away from Dad. He wants to get away from his brother. He wants to get away from his Jewish faith and his background. He doesn't want any of that. He's going to leave it all behind. And then God steps in. When a dad can't do anything, God steps in. And his money disappears. He goes to the foreign land, and I'm making this up, so it's not in the text before he goes. But when he arrives, he's got to look cool. So the first thing he goes and he buys the latest duds. I mean, he looks cool. Then that night he finds the most swinging nightclub that he can, and he walks in there looking cool, and he doesn't realize that he's got the word sucker right across his forehead. And everybody says, oh, here's an easy touch. We're going to get free drinks. And man, he's got guys loving him. He's got girls loving him. And he thinks it's wonderful. He comes home in the wee hours of the morning. He's got a little less money than he expected to have. But he's still got lots. Man, he got his whole inheritance. He goes up the next day and he buys a Camaro used. The guy on the lot says only a grandmother drove to church in it. And after he spent $3,000 repairing it, he realizes he got a lemon. And everything seems to go like that. He hasn't taken our course on how to handle your finances. He doesn't know how to make a budget. And to his amazement, the entire inheritance slowly fritters away. And he's left with nothing. It's kind of amazing that when the money gone, so are his friends. There was nothing in it for them anymore. They disappeared. And then, just coincidentally, a famine hits. Now, who ordains famine? Whose hand is in that? And he ends up looking after pigs in a pig pen. Now remember, he's Jewish. These are unclean animals. If you have anything to do with pigs, you are unclean before the law. And if you have anything to do with it, you're unclean on the outside. His fancy ducks don't look so cool anymore. They're not built for this kind of labor. And he just wants somebody to come. And nobody comes. Nobody. Pigs aren't kosher. So broken and starving, the Bible says he comes to himself. It's amazing sometimes how hard we have to be found just to come to us. But our Heavenly Father loves us enough to do that. He longs to be fed with the pods that the pigs were eating. Imagine being jealous of a pig at a trough. When your ribs are sticking to your backbone, you haven't had anything to eat. That's what happens. He has nothing. And he begins to realize, you know what I've become? I've become a hired hand. He grew up on a farm where there were hired hands. He was the son. He never stooped to what they did. But now he are one. Then he gets thinking, I know that back home, the hired hands are treated better than I am. And he starts to get a new view of his father. And the stuff that Dad was planning in his life, all through his life, that he was trying to ignore and run away, starts to come back. And he's got a new appreciation for it. And he starts to say, I've got an idea. I've got an idea. That wouldn't make a bad boss. I'm going to get home. I'm going to leave this pig pen. And I will arise and go to my father, and I will say to him, Father, I've sinned against heaven and before you. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me as one of your hired hands. So he heads out for a job interview. He confesses that he's blown it. And it's interesting, he confesses that he sinned against God and against his father. He states that he's no more worthy to be called a son. If he's fortunate, if grace comes to him, he may be treated like a hired hand. But nowhere does he list all the sins that he got into in the far country. He doesn't tell Dad, I did this, and I did that, and I did this, and I did that. Dad doesn't need that kind of detail. All Dad needs to hear is the young lad's broken. All we need to deal with is attitudes. And it makes such a difference. You got a kid at home, and he's been ugly to live with. You like to throttle him. I've had 4 teenagers. There were times when they went to camp for the summer. And we put them on the bus and sang the That makes all the difference. So he heads home to apply for a job. It's a long way. He went to a far country. It's a long way home. There's lots of time to think. I can just picture him going down the road. He said, I got to remember my speech. Father, I've sinned against heaven and against you, and I'm no more worthy to be called your son. Please make me as one of your sons. And he repeated over and over and over. He wasn't going to forget that. And I think there were times he thinks, he says, what happens if I don't get the job? I think it was just nearly sick to his stomach. I can't go back to the big bank. Who else would hire me? He's desperate. Now I can't even see it. And then he thinks, I'm so unclean. He looks at his clothes. They're torn and they're muddy. They got the filth of the pig yard on them. He sees a stream and it may be muddy, but he jumps in there and tries to get clean. Then he passes a pond and he jumps in there and tries to get clean. And the more he cleans himself, the dirtier he feels. And then, as if nothing else could go wrong, the job interview goes totally bust. Father runs out. He's looking for him to come, and he runs out and meets him, and he embraces him and kisses him. Now this kid's unclean. Now Dad's unclean. Dad couldn't care less. The law provides a way to get clean again, so we can look after that. I need to let this kid know he's loved. I love him. I missed him. And then he gets the service to put the best robe on him. Back since the days of Joseph, good Jewish fathers gave their sons a robe at their bar mitzvah. Make them really feel loved and accepted. And his robe was probably hung up in a closet. He didn't take that to the far country. He didn't want to look that Jewish. Well, they run upstairs and they get it and they put it on him. And then they put a ring on his finger. You know what that meant? That ring was carved. He could go into town and he'd go to the hardware store and he could buy something. And they would write a receipt and they would spread wax on the receipt and he would press that ring into it and it just meant that the farm was good for it. That was a Visa card in his day. Then they put sandals on his feet. The servants didn't wear sandals. They went barefoot, the soles of their shoes. Their feet were as hard as ours all together. Who wore sandals? Who wore sandals? Family. What's Dad telling you? You can't come back as an employee. You come back as a son. You don't live in the house behind the barn where all the hired hands live. You live in your old bedroom. Your family. And Dad kills the fatted calf. the fattened calf. It's as if God, the Father, has put this in the barn and has gotten ready for his day, dreaming of it, hoping for it. And he calls in all the neighbors. Now, in their country, a son who did what this son would do would be expected to be expelled from the home and kicked out the door. But the father said, I'm not only welcoming the son back, I expect the community to welcome the son back. This is my boy. Have some roast beef. Remember we told you about the people in the room? Who's the story of the younger brother for? For the tax collectors and the sinners? Or for the Pharisees and the scribes? Most obvious. Jesus is speaking to the tax collectors and the sinners. And he's telling them, I know the religious authorities don't like you. I know they shun you and hate you. Say all manner of ugly things about you. But I want you to remember that in your Father's house, the door is always open and the light is always on. You can come home any time you want. It doesn't require a big broken. But my home isn't too good for you. In fact, it's designed for people like you. You can't be part of this church unless you do the first thing. And that's to admit you're a sinner. We have to have it that way. Because we're all sinners, and if you came in and you weren't a sinner, we couldn't stand you. You wouldn't fit. We'd feel awful. He says earlier in this same chapter, I tell you that there'll be more joy in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous people who need no repentance, or at least who think they need no repentance. And he goes on and he starts to tell the story of the angry older brother. Brother, he's stayed by the stuff. He's hardworking. He slaves. He never left home. He's out farming, and it's in the evening, the meal is being served, the company's all in there, and he's probably plowing or something out in the field. And he hears music. And he goes to the house and he's trying to figure what's going on. He finds out Dad is having a party and hasn't invited him. That goes over well. What's this all about? Well, your brother. He's come home. The older brother, he just loses it. Look, these many years I have served you. What a crock of a lie that is. The older brother had only served one person in all his life, and that was himself. We say things and it sounds so wonderful until somebody pokes it apart. I never disobeyed your command. John, did you ever disobey your dad's command? Once. What do you mean you never disobeyed? You know, I meet with my grown-up kids and they tell me what they used to do. They get it from the mother's side. You never gave me a goat that I might make merry with. Just a minute. Didn't we read that Dad divided the estate and gave both brothers their share? Everything that's left behind belongs to this guy. You know why he never had a goat with his friends? Because he was too cheap to kill it and put it out. This guy's God's original Scrooge. He's tight. But when this son of yours, it doesn't say when my brother came, when this son of yours, it's all the Father's fault. Devoured your property with prostitutes. Now, has the son said anything about prostitutes? Did he send a letter home from the far country and say, this is what I'm doing? No, his brother assumes it. We tend to assume that others do what we would do if we could. He's got no right to say this. And you killed the fatted calf for him. You, Dad, killed the fatted calf for him. The anger is so deep. And I'm sure he's absolutely convinced, Dad made me angry. My brother makes me angry. No. You know why I get angry? Because there's anger inside of me. When you squeeze hard enough, that's what comes out. Squeeze an orange, you get orange juice. Just the nature of the thing comes out. Dad didn't put the anger in his son. The younger brother didn't put the anger, they just provided the squeeze. And what was inside came out. And we see the older brother for what he is. He's a fraud. He's a self-righteous prig. And a father pleads with him. Come on into the party. Let me get you a piece of beef. Let me get you something to drink. Enjoy the music. The older brother doesn't know how to have a party. Maybe we Baptists are poor at partying. Well, in this chapter, they keep celebrating. There's a lost sheep that's found, and they celebrate. There's a lost coin that's lost. And they find it, and they bring in friends, and they celebrate. The lost son comes home, and they find him. And Dad says, this is my son, which was lost, and he's found. He was dead, and he's alive. We've had a resurrection. That's what we're celebrating, folks. That's party time. With the story of the older brother, who in the room is Jesus talking to now? Very cleverly, he's nailing the Pharisees and the scribes to the wall. He's putting a finger on their phoniness, on their shallowness, and on their lack of love for others. I was in Mexico, and I'll tell this little story and I'll be done. We had a new family show up to church one Sunday. One of the missionaries that attended our church was preaching that morning, and he preached on the story of the prodigal son. It was a good sermon. I enjoyed it. Oh, about 6 weeks later, we went to church, and this same family was there, and they were very sociable people, and they invited us to their home for lunch and wanted us to stay and watch the ball game. So we watched football, American football, in the afternoon. Then late in the afternoon, we're standing in his kitchen, just having some refreshment. And he said, the first Sunday I was at your church, some guy preached the story of the prodigal son. He said, that's got to be the stupidest story I've ever heard. I haven't had too many people come up and tell me that the Bible's stupid. I said, how do you figure? He said, well, I grew up in Detroit. My dad worked for the automotive industry. He was a member of the UAW, the United Auto Workers Union. And when I finished my studies, I started working in the automotive industry. And I've been a member of the UAW all my life. And in the UAW, we believe in hard work. And people do their part. And when they do their part, we believe they ought to be treated fairly and equally. And we fight for that. And that's our lifeblood. But in this story, you've got one son who's a jerk. He doesn't carry his load on the end. He squanders everything, and he's the hero of the story. And you've got another brother who stays by the stuff, and he's the butt of it. I wasn't ready for that. And I knew that how I handled it could make a huge difference in this young man's life. So I prayed for some wisdom. Then I said to him, let me go get your Bible and read the story. I want you to answer one question. At the beginning of the story, which son had the best relationship with his father? You know, to me, he said, are you telling me it's more about relationship than equality? I said, read the story and answer the question. I didn't hear back from him for weeks. Then he came to me one day. He said, you know that question you gave me? I got the answer. Neither son had a relationship with the father at the beginning. Well, one son did at the end of the story. Because he allowed himself to be broken. That's hard. To walk up to the breaking point and then not back away. Hard for everybody. It's hard for guys. We're taught to be tough, to be men. Real men don't cry. They don't eat quiche either. Brokenness is the key to relationship. 3 weeks ago, I was at another church and I just attended. And the preacher was a woman. And she said one line that I want to leave with you, that I'll never forget. Brokenness is not eternal. The fruit of brokenness, a relationship with Jesus Christ is. God bless you.
Hey, you know what? We are a community that loves Jesus, and we want you to be part of this. Feel free to give us a call or even drop us an email. We'd love to hear from you.